Hello, tubers and tubettes. My name is David, and I live in Northern California. I've been loading up videos yesterday, and it was July 5th. And I guess the last videos that I had loaded up was on April 14th. So I'm a little bit behind. But it's weird with YouTube. You know, it's hard to stay on point. I do like to make the videos, but then to get them all edited and put them up on YouTube, it is a little takes effort. It's really easy to fall off of that. So anyway, I even loaded one up this morning for my California pool designer, where I did a time-lapse video of me drawing. Wanted to talk a little bit about this upcoming week. I guess we're going to Temecula for a wedding. So we're flying out on Friday. It makes my week of appointments has to be compressed, and then my son's birthday is on Wednesday, so I can't work on Wednesday evening. I do have Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, but I have like 3 appointments that I do need to call and get those scheduled. Something I recently did, and it's just, I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird, nostalgic, I guess. But when I was in the Navy, I think my waist size was like a 32, and right now I'm like a 36. I was 38, but I got down to 32. I was down to 32, and there's no way I can fit in a 32. So for some reason, I just decided I wanted to try to collect some of my uniform like I had when I was in the Navy. I got in 77, and they had already been changing over to the new uniform, which basically looked like black pants with a white shirt. But when I got out to the fleet, I was stationed on the island of Guam. There were a lot of guys still wearing their Cracker Jacks. And so I had gotten a set of Cracker Jacks, and legally I could wear them, so I did. So now what I'm doing is I went on eBay. I'm always on eBay. And I ended up buying a pair of Cracker Jacks, the dress uniform, that are kind of the darker color. And I remember when I went to the Philippines, I think in 77, there was a lot of guys that were wearing it, and they had their Liberty cuffs, which is where they would roll their cuff up as they're walking around town, and they would have dragons embroidered on the inside of their cuff and also on the back of their flap. And I don't know why, I just thought that was really cool. That was mostly the guys that were gray and underway. I was stationed on the island of Guam, so even though I really wanted to be on a boat, I never got a boat. I always wanted to be on a destroyer. I actually requested it. Nope, never got on a boat. I mean, other than walking on it like other people did during Fleet Week or something like that. But it was those uniforms I thought were really cool. So I found one on there. It's a size 44 top. And I don't know what the size of the pants are, but that would be a pretty big guy. And so I'm ended up getting getting that uniform. And I also found I was an E5 electronics technician, communication, and I found my insignia, so I ordered that too, and I'm going to have it put onto that suit. And I found some Liberty sleeves that were already embroidered. I guess they're super old. There's actually quite a few that were embroidered, and then you sew them onto the cuff. So I think I'm gonna do that too. Sometimes at church during Veterans Day, or what used to be Veterans Day, there's some of the old guys, they dress up in their uniform, and I thought that'd be kind of cool to do. Not that I am gonna do it or not, but I am going into this like nostalgia type of thing where this year I ended up buying the same guitar that I had when I first got into the Navy, which was a Yamaha. And I ended up finding the same guitar with the same case that is kind of got orange felt on the inside. And then I did buy my stereos that I had when I was in the Navy, even better stereos than I had before, which were all Pioneer with Bose speakers. So I bought that a few years ago, but I listen to it every once in a while. It's kind of nice to turn it on and listen to it. It takes me right back to the time when I was in the Navy and the camaraderie that we had. It was always nice. There was always something to do. There's always people there. Everybody was really, really good. It really was a nostalgic time for me, and I do think about it a lot. And I did have a chance to go to Subic Bay, so I did, from Guam, and I remember being there. I'd like to go back someday and just see how much it's changed since 1977. I know it's been decommissioned and everything. But yeah, it's kind of nice to go down memory lane. Looking forward to getting the uniform and seeing if it fits. I have the white Cracker Jacks, but the one I have, I think it's a little tight. So it's really hard to order them because they don't. This is the first time I've seen one that said 44. Usually they don't have it like that. They have you measure like across the chest and the length of the arm and stuff. So they got these crazy measurements you have to try to do. So the one I got, it says 44. So I wear 42, so it should be fine. I'd rather have something a little bigger that I could tailor in. Not that I'm going to wear it, maybe, I don't even know if I would wear it to church, but during Veterans Day. But it's kind of nice to have your old uniform, or have a uniform that was the old uniform. So I'm doing that. Not really sure why. This week I've got 3 appointments that I need to call today. I'm going to start setting them up because I'm going to be out of town on Friday, Saturday, and coming back on Sunday, going to this wedding, which I know the people that are getting married, and I know their father and mother really well. But it is weird to be going to a wedding. Normally I would not be invited had it not been my wife. My wife is just such a bubbly person, and that's why we're going, is because we got invited, mostly because of my wife. So it's kind of fun to go do some of these things. I'm pretty much in the background, just making sure we get to places, driving the car, we're going to stay at Embassy Suites, so it'll be nice. Nice little getaway. I'm going to try to jump in the pool at least once while I'm there, and try to enjoy the wedding. I know it's going to be this really high-end, fancy wedding, so I've got to get a blazer. So actually I got to talk to my wife about looking for one, and that way I'll be able to dress for success. But talking to my wife on the way into church, and I usually don't talk to her about the Philippines because I like to watch a lot of the vloggers there, but I was thinking about Mark Thornton and how much so many of the people, or I guess a lot of people, did not like him. I don't know if it was because of his politics. I remember watching him when he finally said that he was a Democrat, and I'm assuming most of the people over there are Republicans. And then he started talking about how, I don't know how you believe in Trump, because he's a liar and da-da-da-da. And I mean, then it just started game on, I know he had one time where he was on a live stream and he was talking a bunch of stuff about Goldfinger. So I was telling my wife about Goldfinger. He's a crack up. But he was trying to, say negative things about Goldfinger when he was a jeweler down in the LA area. And I don't know why people get into that, maybe, it was a response because Goldfinger said something about him, about his Apple stock, because he's always talking about his Apple stock that he sold to buy a house, and then he ended up losing the house. So he should have kept his Apple stock, and that was just enough for Goldfinger to chime in and was talking about, stop talking about your Apple stock. Number one, You know, you probably didn't have that much. And number two, you know, you already sold it. So why keep talking about it? But he did talk about it quite a bit. So that's the things that I have a YouTube channel, but it's not popular. I think it could be popular if I was in the Philippines and I was trying to, you know, encourage people to come there, you know, not necessarily, but that seems to be, you need to kind of be in the way that the people are interested. But for me, I kind of like it not having any negative responses on my videos. And so I'm not in it for the money. I'm not even interested in getting monetized. I just want to put what I want to put on there, and I want to do what I want to do. So that's kind of how I feel about it. So just touching bases with everybody, letting you know that I'm going to be putting up some more videos. I told my wife I've got to get some up this week. I'm going to try to catch back up. So I've got a couple months worth of stuff to catch up with. I need to do it because I'm getting a lot of videos on my iCloud, and once I make a video, I delete the rest of them. So looks like I'm getting ready to go into church right now, and I can see people walking in there, so I'm going to stop the video now. But thanks for listening, and thanks for hearing my rant about Mark Thornton in the Philippines. Thank you much, and have a great day.